So to
There
recap,
was
what's
just
all the abuse then that we've covered so far?
I think we've covered a little bit of religious abuse, a little bit of sexual, a little bit of emotional, and a little bit of verbal. There was also medical abuse.
And physical, the
Yes,
beatings.
physical. We've also covered physical. All of the
So basically, all the stuff in our video series is true.
Yes.
Well, there you have it.
Yes, it is true. It is important to verify truth sometimes, because when you're the only truth teller in a family full of seemingly good people, it can be extremely hard for people to believe you, especially when you have a nice family image like ours did. No one wants to believe the scapegoat. No one wants to believe the truth teller, because what they're saying sounds so bad, and no one wants to believe a horrible, horrible story, because then they're confronted with, could I have done something?
Right now, what is the official story in the family is just that Haley's crazy, or that I've embellished and convinced her that things are worse than they actually were. It's all my fault.
Yes, that is actually so far from the truth. I think that you would rather it not be true.
Which is it? Are you crazy or I'm evil? Or both? I guess both.
Both. It's both. Okay, she's crazy, and you're taking advantage of her.
You're taking advantage of my crazy.
That's it. But I did not experience that. Like, in fact, my husband had a really hard time believing any of this, because he's like, when I started to realize that, you know, my upbringing was traumatic, he was like, not against it, but he was having such a hard time believing it, because it sounds so unbelievable. He's like, you have seemed like you've been fine with your childhood up until this point, and now all of a sudden your parents are villains. And I'm like, I'm working through stuff. I know this stuff happened to me. I know by the definitions that I was abused. I didn't even realize how much then. It slowly unraveled over many, many years, honestly. You can't come to
right. So
grips
it's like,
with
for example, you guys remember being spanked that were actual beatings. You just didn't know how serious and how bad it was until you got context.
Yes, we were told we had a great childhood.
You didn't know what was abuse and what wasn't. Yeah.
Yes. And when we would say we had a good childhood, what I was referring to was all the times I was playing with my siblings outside. My good memories did not really involve my parents. I could remember a few times when I was a teenager where mom would pat me on the back when I was doing dishes, and it would flood my whole body with this like crazy high. Like it was like a like a dopamine rush. Like, oh my goodness, I want that again so badly, because it was so infrequent that whenever I would get it, I would just, my whole body would be like, better take this in. It's not going to happen for a while. I don't really remember them saying I love you or giving us little doses of affection throughout the day. And I understand they had a lot of children. I do understand that. And I know they were overwhelmed. There is grace to be had for that. But I've seen parents with a lot of children still show affection to each one of their children. So you can't say that it was just because they had a lot of children, because there are parents who prioritize that. And with my own children, it just comes naturally to say I love you, to speak words of encouragement, even in, you know, on busy days. There's so many moments to be able to do that. But they did use praise as a weapon and triangulated us against our siblings. So I was triangulated a lot against Haley and sometimes against Corey. Corey for the cleaning and Haley for
So what does triangulation mean?
So you pit one person against another. So it's a triangle. So it'd be me or me down here, because how could I dare put myself at the top of the triangle, and then mom at the top, and then she would triangulate me against you. So there would be 3 people in the triangle. You were triangulated against other people for talents you didn't have. It was nobody won in that scenario. Like the other sibling didn't feel better about themselves because they were being compared to another sibling.
In summary, our video series is accurate, because that covers a lot of it.
Unfortunately, yes. From your perspective and what you endured, yes, your videos are accurate. And I say it with that caveat because not everything you experienced, I experienced. I mean, you just pointed out some things that I didn't even know in this video. And like the grout jobs that you went on, I didn't experience that. For some reason, I was never taken along on those jobs.
You want to know why?
Because I was a weakling?
No, your hands weren't big enough.
I do have quite small hands.
These sponges, like, remember these sponges were like this big.
Yeah,
you
I
had,
remember.
Like, 2 hand, like, oh yeah.
It sounded awful, and I was very glad.
Your younger sister though.
Because she had bigger hands.
Oh yeah,
They took your
a
younger
sister younger than me. Yeah, yeah, and I was always like, okay. It was always like that. What's wrong with me? But also like that secret relief, like,
Yeah, you're like, ooh,
like why am I not getting taken? What's wrong with me? But also, thank God.
Exactly.
So much fear. I would say the prevailing emotion of my childhood was fear. Fear with the nightmares, fear of getting found out, fear of the shame, fear of getting caught.
Rapists. That's kind
Had to live with what?
terrifying. You had to live with rapists.
That's not a fun idea.